Capitalism, a social, political, and economical system based on the private ownership of means of production, the production of goods and services for profit, law of supply and demand. There is the existence of competition between producers, opposition to government intervention in economics, and the existence of social.
Democracy, a government system by the people, where the citizens can participate directly or by representatives of their choice, proposing, developing, and establishing the laws. Democracy is the opposite to those governments where power is held by one individual or by a small group of.
The Ottoman Empire during the 19th century. The Ottoman Empire was once a very long-standing and powerful empire which ruled the Middle East and much of northern Africa and Eastern Europe. It had been one of the world's largest imperial power, ruling plenty of territories and spanning its area. The Ottoman Empire was governed from Constantinople. Its ruler was the Sultan. By the end of 1800s, the Ottoman Empire started many reforms, but it was too late because the collapse and instability had already started, and it was known as the sick man of Europe. In the 19th century, the Ottomans were in a critical position, controlling access to the Black Sea.
The Ottoman Empire had a dual economy in the 19th century, consisting of a large subsistence sector and a small colonial-style commercial sector, linked to European markets and controlled by foreign interests. Istanbul was the crossroad of trade between the East and West. Commerce was a very important aspect, in where almost every man was related in a specific trade. The merchants, captains, and other people involved in it needed licenses.
There was plenty of state supervision and taxes on many of the transactions. Ships carried silk, tea, spices, and porcelain, whereas Russian ships carried furs, grain, and amber. European ships carried mirrors and drugs. The competition for cheap products from India and the Far East made them develop other trade routes. As the Ottoman Empire expanded, it acquired control over trade routes in the East, and many European powers, such as Venice and Geneva, paid great sums for the privilege to access these routes. At the end of the 19th century, foreign trade became a little more important due to the rise of protectionism in Europe and producers looking for new markets.
Before the 19th and 20th century reforms, the Ottoman Empire state organization was very simple and had two main dimensions.
Under the Ottoman Empire, the Sultan was the supreme leader of a centralized government that had an effective control over its provinces, officials, and inhabitants.
The Committee of Union and Progress, CUP, began as a secret society in Istanbul in 1889 by medical students. It was transformed into a political organization and later an official political party, aligning itself with the Young Turks in 1906, during the period of the dissolution of the Ottoman Empire. The CPU began as a liberal reform movement in the Ottoman Empire. The party was persecuted by the Ottoman imperial government for its cause of democratization and reform in the empire. Democracy during the Ottoman Empire was almost unreachable. The only attempt of trying to turn the Ottoman Empire into a democracy was the General Assembly. The General Assembly was an attempt of representative democracy at the imperial level in the Ottoman Empire from 1876 to 1878. The General Assembly was dissolved by Abdul Hamid II. It was revived during the Second Constitutional Era with significant reforms and participation by political parties and lasted through the Allied occupation of Constantinople until 1922 when the empire was dissolved. Besides this, there was another thing that didn't allow the Ottoman Empire to become a democracy. The people of the upper classes, the men of the sword, soldiers who guarded the Sultan and defended the state, and the men of pen, scientists, lawyers, judges, and poets, were the most predominant classes, and they didn't want it a democracy because they.
As an effect of the power that the upper classes have, the lower classes, men of negotiation, merchants, tax collectors, artisans, and the men of husbandry, farmers, wanted a democracy. As an effect of this, in 1889, a new committee was found. The Committee of Union and Progress began as a secret society established as the Committee of the Ottoman Union. It was transformed into a political organization and later an official political party by the dissolution of the Ottoman Empire. Another reason that the Ottoman Empire wasn't a democracy was that in an absolute monarchy there is a territorial unification and submission of the nobility to the crown. If the Ottoman Empire turns to be a democracy, this wouldn't be allowed and the expansion and success of the Ottoman Empire wouldn't exist.
As we said in the very beginning of the video, democracy means the government by the people, and capitalism, which normally accompanies democracy, means a social, political, and economical system based on the private ownership.
You see, the region of the Middle East was controlled by the Ottoman Empire until circa 1922. In this video, we have focused in the 19th century, and therefore we cannot avoid speaking about the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire never really accomplished true capitalism due to the government's control over merchants and companies that started to flourish as a result of geographic location of Istanbul, connecting.
As you may already know, the democratic process of choosing a governor didn't exist in the Ottoman Empire. One of the greatest strengths of the Ottoman Empire was the fact that it was highly centralized. And this is one of the reasons why the Ottoman Empire was one of the longest lasting empires in history. As you may already know, the democratic process of choosing a governor didn't exist in the Ottoman Empire. One of the greatest strengths of the Ottoman Empire was the fact that it was highly centralized. And this is one of the reasons why the Ottoman Empire was one of the longest lasting empires